Blerdcon 2021 is an anime and fan convention that is based in the DC metropolitan area, held in their home hotel of the Hyatt Regency Crystal Sea in Arlington, Virginia. I've attended the convention in 2019, and if I remember, in 2018, it was woke, but acceptable woke, because it was more of a hangout convention dedicated to Black Americans who are into anime, manga, video games, all that kind of stuff. There were plenty of people in the dealer's room I met were full of Black American creators, and I bought some of their merch. Oh, and then I mentioned they probably had an all-day and night DJ party at the center of the event floor. The same event floor that Anime USA used to had. That it was, if I remember, it was also full of dealers rooms. Where it was also held as an artist alley, as well. It was shared artist alley community center, if I remember. I don't remember how Anime USA was. But I thank God I took as much of photos as I could of those conventions. Now, anyway, that event floor was basically actually had a DJ at the center of that floor, and it was surrounded by video games and arcade cabinets, and it was an all-day night DJ party. It's as if you have this club atmosphere with cosplayers hanging about and dancing around with an arcade bar, and it was lit up at night. I was planning to commute to and from the convention in 2020. That is before Corona-chan happened. And the state governments of Virginia, Maryland, and DC have made the ill-fated and ill-decided decision to implement lockdown restrictions that has caused the mass cancellation of these conventions, including the near collapse of the convention, hospitality, and large event industry. And it will take years for the scene and industry to recover. But that is a different video for another time, and hopefully I'll make that video soon. But I want to inform people of the real reason why I am not attending Blerdcon 2021, and it's for several reasons. And thank God I held off of buying a badge for 2021. There is a good reason I did not immediately buy a badge for Blerdcon 2021, because everything was so unstable, and you were practically not allowed to look forward to anything except the pandemic, and except where a hot topic the media is talking about, since everyone was so myopic and obsessed with what's going on. What if the convention goes away for good? Or what if the convention gets postponed again? Or, the worst case scenario, you have a convention, instead of focusing on making up for lost time, they get focused on safetyism. Because that's what just happened. And there are several reasons why I'm not attending Blerdcon. Because their focus on 2021 is on safetyism, and they impose a mask mandate instead of focusing on entertaining experience to make up for that lost time. As I said in my previous video about vaccine mandates and vaccine passports, this focus on safetyism and hygiene fear is not for any actual safety. It is for virtue signaling to please the coronabros that have no real intention to coming to your con. There are too many cosplayers I know based on speculation, despite getting a vaccine and virtue signaling about it, and waiting for a vaccine before they get it, that they don't want to attend any convention for any reason. They don't want to live their lives as they were before the lockdowns. Primarily because they're so used to the Instagram life, the Twitter life, the Facebook life, and for some cases, OnlyFans, as a total replacement to in-person life. An inorganic parasocial life / relationship that is more rewarding for them instead of an authentic real life. And there are several attempts to hold a convention under lockdown restrictions by going super COVID woke to keep the coronabros at bay. In response, some of the cosplayers went all in on the arrangement by literally canceling them by themselves through evil journalists with an agenda from Anime News Network, like in the case of Anime Dallas 2020, or by con-goers who hate their own conventions. Once hate their own conventions, basically by con-goers who hate their own conventions by the stay-at-home maniacs by planning to call law enforcement, like it happened to Yomarcon in 2020. Of course, Yomarcon never admit the real reason why they decided to actually cancel the con. It wasn't by social pressure. It was by threat of law enforcement driven by coronabros. The second reason for the opposition to any mask mandate is that this convention, Blerdcon 2021, will be happening during the summer, when almost everything related to the Corona-chan deaths and cases will be rock bottom. This will help because of the warmer weather and the vaccine campaign started by the previous presidential administration. Ultimately, keeping a mask mandate removes any incentive for anyone to take a vaccine, for any reason. To be honest, if cons are keeping these mandates regarding of vaccinations, what's the point of taking the vaccine in the first place? And there are other reasons why. I've been a whole cosplay photographer since 2007. I've evolved into a cosplaying Otaku a year later. I've been documenting these conventions in video for many years. I've documented not only the cosplay, but the events, the materials, the attendees, the spontaneous events that are going on between the panels and the rooms and the events, everything. And still, people wearing masks during the summer, during a summer con, will break this immersion and fun and turn it into a dystopian reminder that you are not allowed to have any real fun, and that you need to be constantly reminded, constantly LARP or live action roleplay on a daily basis that you're not allowed to be human because the TV says so. Also, as a cosplaying photographer, these masks basically make any pictures I take dated immediately, and if not, almost immediately. To these people that will tell me, oh, it's just going to be a bad memory, honest. Well, these people willfully ignore that it is an ongoing trauma. And these pictures will be a massive reminder of how hysteric we were as humans. Also, I'm on the autistic spectrum. When these conventions got cancelled, my whole social scene and community just evaporated almost immediately. And that community moved mostly online to social media, Discord, Twitter, Facebook, and they got super COVID obsessed because of groupthink and cancel culture. And cancel culture got accelerated and grown to the point in real life where if you say anything that's against what mainstream media says, or their influencers say, your life will be made hell immediately. So when I get told, oh, there's so other ways to connect with other people, that means you expect to connect with people online for Facebook and Twitter. They expect you to use social media as a total replacement. And I get offended when people say such comments like that. Like, if you're not literally obsessed with the world events, especially with Corona-chan that is dying out, they'll get upset immediately, and their tone gets more deranged and hysterical the more you try to tell them why I know that Corona-chan exists, but I'm not hysterical about it. Because to most people, hysteria is a drug. And I cannot relate or recognize these same people to the same people that I used to see at these conventions and these cosplayers ever again. Because the whole year they were so obsessed with virtue signaling, virtue shaming, talking about how they miss cons, miss cosplaying, missing experiencing real life, and now recently with vaccine signaling, showing off their vaccine status. And when there's any push to return to normal, they don't want it. They rather wait until 2022 even when vaccinated. Even then, it will not be enough because they're so used to this mindset, to this mind lock, that they don't want to attend any in-person events. And in their mind, they get pissed if people go to these in-person events. They're so mentally locked because of the media hysteria. And because of this, I still am completely isolated from the world for over a year now. Because the whole anime convention scene is COVID woke, and I have no one to relate to in real life that I can open up to in what's going on. And I still am to this day. I do not think I can see these same Congos the same way again, because they're going to be talking about how much they locked and survived being in a media-induced lockdown. For a person who has autism regarding masks, it's difficult for me to wear a mask for a long time. Oftentimes, I wear them when I'm required to in a store, or in airports, or in airlines. And for the most part, I don't bother wearing them anymore, unless I have to. In a convention where most people who will get vaccinated as a precaution because they want to, it will be a constant reminder that you are in a dystopian hellscape, instead of seeing anime cons as a means for a temporary escape from real life, as it always should be. After a catastrophic year, we need a space to withdraw, to wind down from this dystopian hellscape, not to be constantly reminded of the things we lost or stolen from us, or a constant reminder that we need to lock like we are in a pandemic long after it's over. I cannot support any convention that will impose mask mandates, regardless whether the state level mask mandates expire or not. It is a convention that I will no longer support for any reason. But if at any time Blerdcon decides that they need to go back to normal, at any time, I will reconsider my decision, and I will gladly attend that convention. But right now, I cannot, in any good conscience, or to my principles, support any convention that is focused on safetyism, rather than making up for lost time and putting on a show to close to normal as possible. This goes the same to any convention, including Otaku, Anime USA, if it still exists or not, Capsicon, or MagFest. I cannot support any convention that decides to impose any safetyism protocols. It's time for us to go back to normal, or as close to normal as possible. Because seriously, if a convention is focused on safetyism instead of putting on a show, what's the point of going to a convention? You might as well stay home for another year, because it's practically no fun. This is JK from the Ministry of Otaku. I'll see you in the next video.